Hello everyone, this is Jeremy again with Coding Contraptions, and we're going to be working on a few things today, but the encouragement of the day is habits plus deliberate practice equals mastery. I'm going to cover that more toward the end of the video, but the basic idea is that there are habits that you do on an ongoing basis every day, many of them you don't even think about, and there's deliberate practice where you'd have to improve and try to develop new habits. And that is going to get you to mastery. And that is what a lot of people are looking for. And it is something that I am personally looking for. I love skillful people, love seeing how they work, how they think. And so it's just something that is in the back of my mind almost all the time. I just love seeing skillful people. So that said, let's get to it. Today, we are still looking at this website, my first real website. I've already discussed a lot of what's going on here, pretty much all of it. So, but let's get back to the code portion of it. So we're going to start where we left off, and there are three separate divisions on the site. There's this part here, which I labeled div egg, because they're selling eggs over here. I have an egg picture, so just made a lot of sense to call it the egg division. The middle section has a quail picture in it, and it's really doesn't have any sales stuff on it. It's just a neat image that fills some space in there. I think it creates a nice looking overall look for the website. And then the third is div quail, and this is where they're going to sell the quails, the actual birds. And so you can see it over here on this right hand side. So let's kind of go through this. So all of these have at the beginning a flex and a number. So remember in this one we're using Flexbox, not CSS Grid. And with Flexbox, when you put numbers, it automatically creates a ratio. So say the flex there is 1, that's 2, that's 1. That means this one's going to be twice as big as the other two, and Flexbox automatically calculates that. So for example, I could change it to flex 4 to make this one really big. Go over here and it makes it really big. I could also make this into like that tiny, make a 0.5. And then that's gonna make that middle image kind of small there. So that is how that works. The height is 100 view height on all of them, which should be 100% of the whole page. The background images are there. Those are links to images that I used in the web page. Those images are stored. Actually, let me go ahead and refresh that so it looks good. Those images are stored here. We're actually right here in Flex Quail, and I put them in here. Now make sure when you look up images that you get ones that are not copyrighted. You don't want to get in trouble later on. There are filters you can use on all of the major web browsers that will tell you whether something has copyright or not. If you know, our videos will help you to look that up on YouTube, but just be very careful. You want to make sure that none of those are going to be copyrighted. So anyway, so the background repeat is no repeat on all of these. So that is by default on repeat. So it will just show the same image over and over again. So you need to put that, when you use a background image, most of the time you're going to have to put a no repeat on there. It's kind of a leftover from the old days of the internet where people would repeat the same image in the background to create the overall background, like little squares, and computers were slower. It was a little a different time, but now it's just kind of outdated, really, honestly. So just put no repeat on your images. The background size is covered, so I want to cover that area on all of these. And also the background position was centered. I did not center this one here, the div egg, because it didn't need to be. It looked really good like that. These other two I wanted to center them so the quail would show in the center. This one, being a little off center, actually, I thought was a little more interesting, so I didn't actually center that image. That's really all there is to that. So this is the CSS, and this is all, can you see where it says div egg, quail pic, and div quail. So if you go back down to the actual main code, down in the body, which is where the actual information is, the CSS is just more of the layout. You can see here, there's the div egg section, the one that was on the left, and it has the table and the code for that. And the middle division has the quail pick, which really just has this information here. And the background image is already determined above. And then the right hand division is here with the div quail. Again, there's another table, and then there's actually the order now button on that one and on this one as well. So we'll kind of go through that a little more as we get down to that level of things. But that's kind of the basic idea, that this information here, these three sections here, determine the background image and the overall format for what's beneath. So here we have the styling for the healthy paragraph. So this covers this little section here, this paragraph. So it has a width of 95% of that area, not the whole page, just this section. The margin is 0, so it's not really spaced away from anything around it. So there is no. It's only covering that little percentage. If I had that 100%, then it would touch the edges because there is no distance between that outside edge and then this paragraph. And the margin top is a 90 view height. That's the distance from here to here. So I did actually add a margin to put it down that low. The other margins are 0. And then the background color, this antique white, is that color there that you see in the background. Text align center, it says center text. The font size is 1.5 EM, so that makes it that size there. The border radius is 25 px, and so the radius is what creates this kind of rounded edge on things. So it's used a lot in a lot of websites. It does make it look really sharp. And the padding is 10 pixels, and that's the distance from this outside edge to the text. So that's the formatting for that particular thing. So here the table, here a table, you got your rows and your columns. The border is 1 pixel, it's solid and it's black. So that's saying that this outside edge here is 1 pixel. So just to show you what it looks like if you change it up, I go ahead and make it say 10 pixels. It should be a pretty wide. Yeah, see how it creates those borders a little bit wider. Doesn't look as nice as the one. Okay, and then the table itself has a width of 80%. So all the tables are 80%, both of them. I'll refresh, that looks nicer. So this is 80. So this is the 80% of the total area. So the 20% is composed of the two sides there, the remaining 20%. Same thing over here, it applies to all tables. So when it says table, it applies to any table in your HTML. So you got your rows and your columns, the padding's 10 pixels. Again, that's the distance from the outside edge to the text in every cell. See how it all looks the same, very consistent, looks nice. Okay, so in this video we covered the divisions. There are 3 of them: div egg, quail pick, div quail. Talked about the healthy paragraph and some of the basic formatting down here. So next time we'll start looking at children. It's an interesting concept that I found early in my programming that has allowed me to make some pretty neat designs. So I'm going to go and wrap it up there. So like I said before, we're going to talk about the saying again: encouragement for the day, habits plus deliberate practice equal mastery. So the reason that's important is that habits, you can have good habits, you can have bad habits, but you need to continually be practicing on making your habits the habits you want them to be, getting better and better. So for example, here's mastering one habit. The number of repetitions you do, there's automaticity, and the more you do it, it becomes more and more easier with repetitions and becomes a habit at a certain point. And you want to make sure that those are intentional habits. The habits that you form should be the ones you want. So if you want to do well, you need to constantly be raising the bar and trying to better yourself. So for this, I guess for today, the thought is if you're going to be practicing habits, make sure they're habits that you want to develop and not the habits that you don't want to develop. That's it for today. Hopefully you guys had a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.